I guess here, moving on a little bit more east to the NL East here. Looking or starting at the bottom here. I got your hometown team here right now, the Washington Nationals. They're honestly
There
just
you
too
go.
young. They're honestly just too young, I think, is the biggest thing. Like they've gotten a lot of great prospects, obviously from all the trades of the top level talent that they've had. But yeah, it's just too soon, I think, with regards to the developments at the moment. We'll see what they can get from Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams. I think obviously those are like the two core players I think they're going to be focused on, and then yeah, I know they got a bunch of other prospects that will probably be playing coming up here. So yeah, just kind of a another season just for them to just marinate on the young talent there. Moving on to the Marlins. Yeah, I got the Marlins coming up here. Next, a lot of question marks. I think Sandy Alcantara looks like he's gonna be missing this season due to Tommy John surgery. So that's gonna be, I think, a big. I mean, that's like their Cy Young essentially. Their Cy Young person there. I don't know how much Luzardo can do, or this is kind of like just a kind of a major blow there. I feel like so. They did get Tim Anderson. They are gonna have a full season of like Jake Berger. And then obviously, Luis Arraez is there, Mr. Hits. So they do have some talent there. But yeah, I think a lot of question marks in regards to their overall direction of the team. They did get rid of Kim Ing as well. And it's like, what exactly is happening up there? And sometimes I think that kind of has like a bottom to top or top to bottom effect there that isn't maybe always seen. So yeah, I got the Marlins kind of taking a step back here. And then a team I see maybe taking a little bit of a step forward. The Mets actually here. So hey, look, they got some young talent. They got some young talent there with Francisco Alvarez. I think he's in terms of their lineup, like that's a pretty solid lineup. Him in the middle there with obviously Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso. So pitching staff might have some questions overall, but I think that they can get the job there. Pete Alonso, this is his final year in his contract, so a lot of people are projecting, hey, maybe this guy hit clubs like 50 homers or something. So he could have probably like an MVP kind of year. And maybe that carries the Mets a little bit in terms of the wins. So I got the Mets here finishing third. And then, yeah, the battle of these two teams here, it's kind of been happening like this the past couple of seasons. I still got to go with the Phillies finishing second here. But again, that doesn't necessarily tell about what's going to happen in the postseason. So yeah, Phillies here, but who knows? Healthy Bryce Harper, for this future Hall of Fame phenom talent, right? They still, essentially have the same squad as last year, so they can definitely build upon what they did in the postseason last year. But this Braves team, I feel like this. There's just like a nice line of like the Phillies are built for the playoffs, but the Braves are very much built to like win in the regular season. So, I think they kind of just continue on that. I guess they're both those DNAs here. Then obviously the Braves, one of the best rosters up, down, left, right that they have out here. That lineup is just nuts. Obviously led by MVP Ronald Acuna and then Olsen as well. Albies. So there's just so much talent, I think, on that roster. Pitching staff, potential Cy Young and Strider. I think he's the favorite to win. We'll definitely talk more about that later. But they did add Chris Sale there. We'll see what type of production they can get. That's an interesting thing that they did there, trading that young talent player Vaughn over there. But obviously Vaughn, he was kind of too talented to be kind of sitting on the bench a little bit for the Braves. So Chris Sale, if he's able to get maybe like 70% of what he's been able to do, I think that's totally fine for them, and especially for the postseason. That'd be great, right? Like, I'd almost feel like, hey, Chris Sale, sit the first half of the season. Let's just get you ready maybe for the postseason, and then yeah, he's had some postseason success. He can obviously throw it, so I might advise them to kind of just do something like that. So yeah, I think the top two, those are usually the staples there. But yeah, Pat, what do you think about my NL East picks here?
Same order. I was hard pressed on the divisional winner there because I'm just as bullish on the Phillies as I am on the Braves. I mean, I tried to really critically look at both rosters and think about who's got the upper hand here. It is very close. I mean, I think they both come into this year with improved rotational depth. I think they have very good bullpens. Their hitting is just kind of out of this world for both clubs. I think that the Braves just position by position maybe have an edge at most of the spots. So I kind of gave it to him in that sense. Perhaps a better bench too. But it's close, and I just think these teams are kind of shoe-ins to make the playoffs. And I'm with you with the Chris Sale point. I think that if you look around the league, there are a lot of starting pitchers where I think their clubs are going to be very cautious about how they use them this year. When you think about Bueller and Kershaw and Scherzer and DeGrom and you know, Sale and others. I just think, you want to make sure that you're, getting them at their most important points and winning the regular season is you want to get into the playoffs, but in a lot of ways, I think clubs are now starting to, sign guys, starting pitchers. They're trying to get 7 to 8 starting pitchers, on their roster in order to kind of, make up for games that could be missed along the way. So but yeah, I mean, I think the Braves are protected in that sense if Sale happens to go down. So we'll just have to see. I mean, but yeah, the way you kind of put it, I mean, I would have loved to put the Marlins up a little bit higher. But they just lost so many of their starting pitchers when you go, Alcantara, Yuri Perez, Edward Cabrera is injured, Max Meyer may or may not start this year. It's just like, man, they just had a lot of bad luck. And like you were saying with the organization, it's completely dysfunctional. So it's just hard to get, kind of rallying behind your own franchise like that when there's so much turnover and there's just not a lot of long term you know foresight for the players or the staff or both.
Yeah, I mean the Marlins, like if they had, I guess, better. I mean, obviously health is one thing, right? But if they just had better management up there, it would just feel like, okay, what happened last season? Like, not many people predicted what would have happened last season. They kind of took a step forward, albeit like it wasn't Alcantara's best season. Coming off his Cy Young, but obviously now he's hurt, and then yeah, you talked about Yuri Perez as well, like one of the best young arms in the game, and yeah, there's just a lot of question marks, I think, for that organization. So, we'll see kind of what happens there. I don't know if Tim Anderson has an MVP year, kind of a comeback year. I don't know if that helps, but yeah, there's just a lot of question marks, I think, for that Marlins team, which is unfortunate because, yeah, it seems like, obviously Jazz, like he's one of the most exciting players out there, is on the cover of MLB The Show 2023. So, yeah, it's kind of sad to, I guess, have see that type of talent wasted there. But hey, he'll probably be traded to the Yankees or eventually or something like that. So can't be too mad about that, I guess.